Hi everybody, I am Wadey G from the G Listed. Make sure you check out my blog at theglisted.com and then follow all of my social media platforms including Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter by going to the G Listed. All right, so you guys, man, this is a tough February as far as just being black and gay with so much that's going on, but the biggest headline of them all is this case around Empire actor Jussie Smollett. For those of you who are unaware of what's going on and watching this video, I'm just going to give you a quick recap. So on January 29th, Jussie Smollett has went to the police to claim that he was attacked by two men who were MAGA supporters, and they bloodied him up and called him racist and homophobic slurs in the attack. Since then, his story has changed when he went to a concert in California later that week, when he went on the the Good Morning America interview to speak with Robin Roberts. Actually, she flew to Chicago at his request to do the interview. And then just with the words that were coming from his management, publicity team, and just even his own inner circle to the media, it didn't seem that everybody just had a different story, different spin on what happened to Jussie Smollett, allegedly. And I know even with me coming out with my sources that were within his camp, that was just saying this as I was trying to say it to Jussie and whoever's around him, like, you got people in your camp that are trying to sell you out. This is your chance to get in front of it and tell the truth. Despite all of that, of course, he has supporters in the community who just wanted to, say, look, we believe Jussie until CPD or whoever has the evidence that proves against him. Now, for those of you who are on that team and say, you know what, I'm Team Jussie because all of this other stuff is hearsay, and mind you, you can't really tell people to wait until the facts are out, because you also have to wait till the facts are out to prove his innocence. And then people say, well, no, we always believe victims, and until otherwise. I said, well, how do you know if the person is a victim just because they say are a victim? And does that rule apply to everyone? Does that rule apply to white men? Does that rule apply to straight black men? Does that rule apply to masculine presenting men or women? So it seems like the narrative only goes for like black gay men and women in general, in particular black women, from the people that I hear from. And I'm just wondering, is this rule one size fit all? And then people also bring up, well, there are people like Tawana Brawley and all of these other fake hate crimes, including a young lady, I believe she was from New York or Texas, who said that a group of MAGA supporting men jumped her, beat her up, and come to find out that she made up that lie because she got to her dorm late and needed an excuse so that she could get in, and she had to have probation as her punishment. So anything can really go, and I have to say, this is really tough for us in the black gay community. I want to say LGBTQ overall, but this here I want to speak to specifically black gay men. So why are there black gay men who still stand with Jussie as far as believing that he is a victim of a vicious hate crime based upon his race and homosexuality? Well, I had to break it up into these groups of people. Now, the first group, you have to understand, people like me who wanted to believe, and the people who still believe, we're really concerned as black gay men, black LGBTQ people, because many of us have been victims of hate crimes for real. Not only that we have been victims of hate crimes for real, is that even if we have been, we know it's still going on with younger people, our brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter, and it can happen anytime, anywhere. I know some people were saying, well, the neighborhood where it happened where it allegedly happened to Jussie is, full of black people and full of gay people. They're not racist or homophobic over there. You don't know. People could go wherever they want to. People with hate can go wherever they want to. And sometimes you'll be surprised. I lived in Chicago for a long time. I remember a crime that happened in the west suburbs called Naperville, which is supposed to be the friendliest town, or not the friendliest town, but the safest town in America. Somebody got killed. So stuff happens. But as people in the community, we do worry about these things. And when it happened to someone like a Jussie Smollett, somebody who's internationally known, this even made us want to put the awareness out, like, this happens, people need to pay attention, and we need people's support. So I understand that. Now the next group, fans. Fans of Jussie Smollett, fans of Empire, but more so fans of Jussie Smollett. We live in what we call the stan culture, where, you know, groups of people have this delusion of deity for the people that they love. You know, like you talk about singers like Beyonce and her fan base called the Beehive, Lady Gaga and her fan base called the Monsters, Ariana and her team. So these people, whatever their favorite celebrities do is perfect. Anybody who goes against that narrative will be condemned on social media, and they do it in mobs, and, you know, to the point where people back off, or it just gets ugly. And you know, Jussie has that, and I could see that out there online. So they love him. They really want this not to be true. They have him on this pedestal as a celebrity. We get it. So, you know, yes, fans, I mean, I'm sure many of them, the majority of them are fans. Now you also have this other group. This is what I call the Hollywood Black LGBT Black Gay Elite. And I call it the Black Gay Elites because somebody who's been in the community for a long time socially, you know, there's always cliques. And there's cliques no matter where you go, but especially in the Black gay social scene. You know, you have these cliques of people where they vibe on a certain characteristic or passion or like or whatever. And I've noticed for years, just, you know, when it comes to people who feel like they got a certain class upon themselves or a certain like celebrity or anything like that, and they click up, and, you know, other people who may be coming up in the ranks, they kind of feel like, no, you can't sit with us unless we choose you, and all those things. So these people who I have to say, who I know who they are as far as my personal interactions with them, so this is just my opinion here, this is not fact, but the ones who've been caping out there for him, those are the people who I do deem in that whole Black gay elite and the Black Hollywood clique. So they've been coming out, supporting him hard. Anybody who came against them or did not believe his narrative, like me, just, you know, wanted to mouth off saying, you know, how could you do this? You're dividing the community. He's a man of the community. He wears all these hats. He represents the LGBT community. But then they don't want to see the fact that maybe their friend is wrong. Maybe, or the fact that his friend could do wrong just like everyone else. You know, we get it. And I mean, to me, that's kind of like unfair, because it's like for me, I feel like they're denying real victims just because of the celebrity thing, just like with the fan thing. Because considering that he is lying, especially as all this evidence is rolling out, this whole support of him from that angle is actually just saying, you know what, we support him because of celebrity and not because of real victims. And this is why victimhood culture is very toxic. And this right here is challenging that altogether. Then also look at another group, these Black LGBT organization leaders. These are the people who have, you know, come out since the very beginning and say, yes, we stand with Jussie, and then attack people like me or try to throw shade at people like me by, you know, doing group campaigns together and saying, oh, we stand with Jussie, and anybody else who's against him, they're dividing the community. I saw those types of messages out there, and I just said, you know what, I disassociate myself with you because I don't respect you as a real leader. What this really is that you see Jussie celebrity, you probably met him at different balls and events throughout the states in the last 12 months, and you feel like once everything works out in his favor, that what you could do with the leverage of your organization is build some kind of alliance because you showed him support, which that may not always be guaranteed for you, where you end up playing yourself, especially as now the evidence is coming out against him. Also, too, with these organization leaders, they mostly have used this opportunity to promote their organizations. Not saying that is wrong to do it, but I feel like you, the public, need to know this is not about you, the public. This is not about real victims out there. This is just an opportunity for all these platforms to get out there, make themselves heard, raise money because Jussie got hurt. Do they do this for all victims? No, they will do this for the most high profile one, and Jussie is one of them. So that works for them. Also, oh wow, this group here, I'm actually going to do another video about them, but just in short, these Black Twitter, Black queer feminists, and I'm talking about the men, not women, these Black male queer feminists whose career, it seems, to be on social media, especially Twitter, to find something to be outraged about every 6 hours, put it out there on Twitter, see if it sticks, see if it gets retweeted, so they could keep their blue check marks, and so they could write columns and write articles for BuzzFeed and Afropunk and Blavity and The Griot and The Root and every other platform that celebrates victimhood and celebrates, oh, my group is more oppressed than your group and all this other stuff. And it's usually mostly on an anti-male, anti-black male, anti-straight person stint, except for Black women. So this is how they got their come up. And I would put names out there, but just for the sake of really just getting information to you and not trying to create more controversy than this may cause, I just want to keep you guys know who they are. You want to tag them and say, oh, is he talking about you? That's fine, I don't care. Now, reason why this is problematic, these people are most problematic, is they don't care about the victims at all. This is what they do on a regular basis. They don't follow through on these things, and I just say, with everything that they have shown outrage for, gotten retweets, gotten popularity, got to write a blog post for one of these organizations that support that kind of toxic behavior, they move on to the next one quickly, because that's what they got to do in order to sustain their platform. They cannot stay stuck. They need to find the next thing to be outraged, because it's a race out there. They're all competing with each other, because even some of them are now tearing each other down over this Jussie Smollett situation, mainly because I saw on Twitter there was this war of them where they were like, 3 weeks ago, they were teaming up against Shaun King, who was like the king of their kingdom, or queendom, whatever you want to call it. And then they all band together to come against Shaun King. But now I've seen them in the past week, tearing each other apart, because a couple of them have decided, you know what, I don't believe Jussie Smollett anymore, and I, as a Black gay queer man, cannot stand for this, and we need to call him out and say, stand in front of this and apologize. So they're the other queer feminists who are still Team Jussie. They sticking to the script, support victimhood, whatever. But the other toxic thing about that, especially the ones who are still sticking with victimhood, is there was a lot of Black men, straight Black male celebrities who had come out to show Jussie support when this announced, or when the news broke, okay? And these Black queer men came after them and, reminded them of all the jokes that they said in the past, or the reasons why situations like this happen. Well, now it's proven that it didn't happen. And are you going to apologize, or are you just going to fall back and wait for the next thing to be outraged about, so you can get many retweets, so you can keep your blue check and move on to the next one? Now, the last group of people, which many of you probably won't believe me on this, but I have to say it because it is true. I watch social media. The reason why I have this platform is because I study our people. I watch people's moves. I see what goes on. So I speak on what happens in our community. And that is, it's unfortunate. Through social media, we live through this culture where we're motivated by our genitalia or just our sexual desires than our common sense. And with Jussie Smollett being a very attractive man who's very masculine presenting and he's famous, of course, he's going to be the object of affection to many. I mean, he's very handsome to me, very, very attractive to me. And I see guys who have idolized him in that way. So I was even posing out there who were like really, you know, standing for Jussie and saying, I'm still Team Jussie. I said, would you throw that same energy? Certain ones. Not like, I wouldn't pose this as Black LGBTQ leaders, but just regular people in the community where I see them, all they do is thirst trap photos and stuff like that, or they liking them all the way down. I asked some of them, I said, if Jussie Smollett was Miss J from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Fashion Queens, and Miss Lawrence, who's on Star as well as Fashion Queens, Real Housewives of Atlanta, would you have that same energy for them? I just have to ask that because I feel like, you know, with this whole no fast, no femmes era that we've been living in the Black gay community for the past couple of decades, I feel like the response towards like victims, you know, potential victims like them would not get the same strong response as Jussie. And then I even broke it further down. Look at all the trans women, Black trans women who have been murdered. Outside of Black LGBTQ organizations, you don't see the support for them. You don't see the support for the 2 Black men who died in Ed Buck's home within the last, 3-4 years. You don't see that loud outrage for them as is the loud support for Jussie Smollett. So I'm just wondering, is it celebrity? Is it his good looks, his sex appeal? Is that what's driving you to support him? So these are just, you know, this is where I just wanted to break down, like, why do Black gay people still support him, especially Black gay men? And I broke it up into these different kinds, where some of them are very understandable, and then others, you just have to see them for where they are. And no matter what, it's just, we shouldn't, like, you know, judge or condemn them. It's just bring light to them and just figure, okay, the way you move, the way you present your thoughts and your opinions out there, you have to just stand with them when they're called out in that way. And so, like, and if it's the truth, because even just with me in this video, I know there's going to be some kind of hate. Why are you talking about Jussie and all of this other stuff? Then this isn't about me. The reason why I knew to speak out against that narrative that Jussie and his people put out there is because we have real victims in the community. We have real victims in the community. And those of us who didn't believe needed to be out there and say, look, we do have real victims. Unfortunately, it's not him. We don't want you to use this against real victims in our community because that's what we fear will happen. So I'm Weighty G from the G List. Until next video, have a good day.